Uh-huh. Be quiet. Sit down, sit down. You know you're in the car. Sit down. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. Down. Hmm. Hey, what's up? I hope everybody's all right. What's up, Miss Regina, the promoter? What's up, Robin? What's up? What y'all doing? What's going on? My God, today. Happy Fiesta Saturday, you all. So I am excited about this day. It is Fiesta. So from Friday to Friday, it is Fiesta. Parade, parades, and more parades. Market Square. So Fiesta is happening, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm getting ready to go to Fiesta. What's going on, you all? I hope everybody is doing all right. It is, Miss Virginia. It is Fiesta. So I hope you all are doing pretty well. Um, Now it's supposed to. It's kind of overcast, so I got my Tim's on and I got this bucket cap on just in case the rain starts. So it is what it is, right? All right. Ooh, they need to stop. They need to stop. This administration needs to stop. And also, I hope at the end of the day that Zelensky and Trump were talking about how they're going to do this and how he's going to supply Ukraine with weapons. Because if not, I'll be real pissed off because it was the Pope's funeral and Donald Trump and the man putting chairs out. So I don't know. Don't try to take Pope Francis spotlight. Okay, the man is dead. Let him have his flowers. Uh, Let the man have his flowers. Cinco de Mayo is coming in San Antonio as well, you all. So it's a lot of festivals going on. A lot of festivals going on. So yes, 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 yes. Woo-wee. So what else is going on, you all? So now this is what I'm going to do today because it is a free for all Saturday. I really don't have anything planned. I just wanted to come up and see how everybody's doing, baby. I need me some lotion. So when I get to the house, I'm definitely gonna get some lotion. But this is like I'm gonna drop the link, come up, say what you feel. Has anything been going on in the beef sector? I don't know why people don't think I'm gonna talk about beef sector stuff. I just don't get really involved in it. But I'll talk about it a little bit because it's part of my programming. I don't know why people don't think I can't talk about beef sector stuff. That's crazy. I didn't say I said I'm changing my format. Woo! So I get my teeth cleaned on the third. So I get my teeth cleaned, Miss Virginia, on the third. So keep me in prayer as I go get my teeth maintained. Okay, so I get my teeth cleaned on the third. Pray much for me, and ye shall have my prayers. Okay, yes, Lord. Get teeth clean on the third. And I want to hear him say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over flossing, water picking, gargling with the mouthwash. Enter into your sweet reward." That's why I want to hear him say, "Well done, Miss Regina. Well done, well done, good and faithful servant. Well done." Okay, that's all I want to hear. Well done. That's all. So hey, I just want to hear him say, well done. I just want to hear the dentist say, well done. You've been faithful over flossing. You've been faithful over brushing. You've been faithful over putting mouthwash on your mouth. Come on. I want to hear him say, well done. Oh, no, you didn't lose a teeth. Oh, my God, tooth, rather. Well, we're going to pray for that. My God, today. Y'all pray for Miss Virginia. Oh, now, I do have to talk about something. You all did so. I did not know that Bron's page was struck. When did this happen, and why did this happen? Yeah, I mean, I'm oblivious to what was going on. I know Sheffy was talking about it a little bit, and she was saying that Brian was blaming her about the page being struck. That doesn't sound like a Sheffy move. You know, Chef is probably like me. If they're gonna strike your page, we gonna strike your page. We gonna tell you we gonna strike your page. You know, I tell people, hey, you may want to take that down because I'm getting ready to strike you. But I don't think Sheffy did that. Now I will say this, and let me start off by putting this out here. I don't encourage people to strike folks' channels. However, I do let the Lord lead people and how they feel they should go. So somebody said that that particular content creator said some very disparaging, very vile and despicable things about me. And that particular subscriber says that I know you're not going to do anything about it, but I'm going to flag and you know, the channel. So what am I saying? It could have been anybody. It could have been anybody. Because you all have to realize that you don't just offend us when you do foul and despicable things. You can really be offending a lot of the subscribers. So don't ever think that it's always the content creators that are striking your pages. Sometimes the subscribers, Miss Virginia, will strike your page as well. So keep that in mind. Now, let me say this. I didn't strike your page. I really don't think Sheffy struck your page. I think that you really don't know, and you're using that displaced anger off on Sheffy. But I don't think Sheffy struck your page. You know, and so that's what I have to say about it. But does anybody know why the page was struck? Did he say why he thinks the page was struck? Did he say something about somebody that was really bad and that was against the community guidelines? Because these people don't really care about these community guidelines. Maybe they do what they want to, when they want to, how they want to, until the community guidelines take it away. I'm just asking. Locked in Lovely Bronze page. I guess it was struck. I don't know what happened, but somebody said his page is no more. And then I went to look for it, and I don't see it. So I guess that could have happened. I'm not sure. So anyway, y'all be careful with these pages. Be careful with the pages. Now let me see what Amani McDonald. Let me see what Amani McDonald has to say about it. Somebody type something in the, let me do this. Let me do this real quick. The truth doesn't matter to Brian. If he has something in his head, he believes it. You know what? You're right about that, Amani. You are really right about that. You're right. You're right, Amani. I must agree with you on that. You're right. You know what? Oh Lord, I wonder if I can. Ooh, I need to do something real quickly, y'all. Uh-huh. Let me see who this is. Hey,
Hey, brother
Listen,
Jay, happy Saturday.
hey,
You're
Viva
looking
Fiesta.
good. You're looking good. What did you say?
I said Viva Fiesta. You know it's Fiesta in San Antonio, so you know it's Fiesta time.
Oh yeah, Viva Fiesta.
Yes,
Yeah,
Lord.
I thought our president wanted to get rid of all of the cultural holidays. Black, Hispanic, Asian, you know what I mean? So
Uh
I'm
huh.
surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised we are still celebrating. But you know what, Brother Jay? I don't know the difference between strike and flag. Are those words interchangeable? Sometimes they'll say,
No.
no, he was. Hmm?
So if somebody flags your page, that
Uh,
means that there's so like somebody I think tried to flag my page, meaning to take away my monetization. Because sometimes
oh,
they can try to mess up your money with the ads and stuff.
uh,
And so flag means you may have to take the content down, but when they strike you, that means that
yeah,
you're off for a little bit, and that
okay,
strike, if you get three of those, you're out of the YouTube system. So a lot of people try to do their best to avoid the strike because the strike will take your channel off for a period of time, and then you have up to three that you can get. Now, a copyright strike,
yeah,
like I have a music one, and it means that I can't make any money unless I share it. So some of these artists have like the thing that you share, and if you agree to share, then you can do that. But a copyright, like a copyright strike for a song, that is not held against you. But anything like what Lemon had, that will affect you adversely.
okay.
So
The thing I like about,
if I flag your page, then that means I'm trying to take your money, and then I may. So flagging for the most part is messing with your money. And then you might have to take a video down. But when they strike, that means that it's going to be out of commission for a little bit. And if you get
mm,
three of them, you're out. Three strikes, you're out.
how do you know if you are being flagged?
Well, let me tell you how I know I'm being flagged. So when I
Okay,
get flagged, baby,
yeah,
they trying to mess with my money. And so, like for my last video, they tried to flag me, but what they're gonna do is they're going to manually look through it, and usually I have a good track record of getting my money back.
you know when you're live and y'all say they're flagging me. You can see that while you're live.
I can't see it. I can't see it while I'm live, but usually when I get off of the live, it will
Uh huh.
have like a yellow tint on
Oh,
my money sign, meaning that somebody is trying to say, hey, you ain't trying to make no money. Let me see what Nicole Reloaded said. She said, hey, Pastor, a flag is a user report indication indicating a video may violate the platform. A strike is a copyright material and trademark material. Yeah. So yeah. But so they try to flag me, but I get to my money. I get to my money.
well,
Yeah.
like you
Because they
said,
try.
a subscriber can do either or, right? They can strike or they can flag,
Well,
right?
I know they can do it just like everybody else does.
Yeah,
The only thing,
the thing
go
about the
ahead.
subscriber doing it is they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. They're just a viewer, right?
But this is the thing, though. They can get them on another page. So say if you put a copyright strike on someone, even though you don't have a copyright, they can suspend your user page.
Oh,
Yeah, so you got to watch that. I mean, they are telling people, you just can't false flag people.
yeah.
You really can't. But
Hmm.
I just know with the Bron situation, I don't think Sheffy did it. I think that he's just a little upset and he's just lashing out on people. Because I
So
don't see
you mean
Sheffy
to tell
flagging.
me? So YouTube does not let you know who's flagging and who's striking. They don't let you
They'll let
know.
you now. Let me tell you something. They'll let you know who's striking.
Okay.
Flagging, no. Striking,
Oh,
yes. So,
okay.
because you got to put your name in it, and I struck, and that's why I tell people I'm getting ready to strike your page. It'll come up,
Yeah.
and then what will happen is the person can counterclaim that, and if they don't
Counterclaim.
have the proof, then
Yeah.
they can put the items back up. So yeah.
Yeah. So
So
I'm
you
not
know,
sure.
I don't really get deep into it. I only use it when I have to. I mean that's it. I only use it when I have to.
So you strike if they use your image?
Image, um, voice, image,
Okay.
yeah, any of that. Because again, it's my voice is my image, and if I haven't given you permission, then I can do that. And see, this is why I don't let people say to me like a lot of people say, "Hey, Jay, can I use your image?" Oh yeah, you can. Now
Uh-huh.
I don't go back and strike a person, but if and this is why I don't do it because you never know when Mad Day will come with any of these people. And say I use
Yeah.
somebody's image or somebody's footage. Well, they can come back and still strike. Just because you gave somebody a verbal, that don't mean that they can't come back and strike you. And this is why I don't really use people's material because they can come back and get you. They can come back and strike you.
Why does a content creator feel like they can't make their money without using somebody else's material?
Well,
Why?
see, it's easy, and they want to embarrass the other person. That's what it's about. It's about trying to humiliate the other person.
But isn't it about making money? I mean, which one is more important to you? Embarrassing the other person or making your money?
Well, I don't use other people's content like that, so
I
it's about
know.
making money. It's about
Yeah.
making money for me. It's about making money. But everybody doesn't think that way. And so
Okay.
I think people get into dangerous territory when they start using people's image and stuff like that. So like when
Yes.
people said YouTube camera had used this, and the third, I went over to check. It favored me, but it wasn't me. And see, that's another thing. You can't strike people's pages because they favor you. It has to really be you. So, that's why you'll see people putting glasses on folk or doing some type of additional thing. So, they can say, well, that's not that person, or, they always trying to skirt around the situation. But my thing
Yeah.
is, if you're really funny and if you're really talented, you really don't have to do all of that stuff. You just come on and do your set, and then you'll leave.
For those people who are not interested in becoming monetized, they're just on here for giggles and laughs. They don't
Yeah, pretty
mind.
much so. But
Okay, yeah,
they can still get struck. So
they
they can
can,
still
but
get
they
struck.
don't mind. Yeah, they can, but they don't
Well,
mind. They just
this this is why you have people having all of those backup pages because if something
okay,
happens to their page, then they'll go to the
okay,
backup page, and this is why they try to get their backup page monetized really quickly. So that's what
okay.
they
But
try to do.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry for Brian. He has lost so many pages over the years. I don't really visit his channel, but I do know that every time he loses a page and have to start all over, he doesn't seem to be upset about it. But now that we're in 2025 and people are looking for another stream of income, I I think people are serious about their channels now.
Yeah. And like I said, I didn't know his channel was gone until Chefy came over yesterday and mentioned it. And she only mentioned it because I believe he was accusing her of, taking the channel down. And she was like, no, I didn't do it. But when she mentioned that, it really clicked in my head that someone was in the chat saying that I don't like what he was doing and I'm going to strike his page. I've seen somebody in the chat say that now. They said that on their own accord. I didn't tell people to go over there to do that. I don't recommend people to go do that. However, people are grown, and if people get offended, hey, it's up to them to do what they want to do. I don't advocate that kind of stuff, but you know, people get offended, and if people get offended, they have a right. I don't control people. I try to, let people know no, but if somebody feels really convicted about it, they'll do it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
if a subscriber have a favorite content creator and they know it really hurts their feeling and they can't get the same smiles and laughter from that content creator because they've been flagged or strike, they probably will go and do something about it because they're so angry too.
yeah. But let me tell you something. It don't bother me. I know that the girls are not well. I know
Uh-huh.
that people, have some issues, and but this is the thing. You can either be on YouTube or you can leave YouTube. No one ever
Yeah.
tells anybody to come on YouTube. And everybody want to blame. Oh, you do this. You pick on him. You pick on. But no, no. People will come up here and play victim and do all of this stuff. But I mean what I said. And sometimes you tell people something, but they let it, go out one ear to the other, and then when situations start happening, then you realize that hey, you told them right. I just think people need to know that sometimes people are really giving them the right counsel, but because of I guess pride or who the person is or what they may think about the person, they can't receive it. But right is right. Right information is right. And as far as I'm concerned, any serious situation, I have always given people the best uh, suggestions that I could possibly give them with the scope of what I know. I don't know everything, but if I know that something is going to help somebody or keep them from, pain and suffering, I'll let them know. But you just get tired of telling people only for people to slap back and clap back like you are trying to come after them.
So let me ask you about AI. You said that if somebody use AI, your image, but it's really not you, but it comes very close to looking like you, um, do you flag or strike those kind of
I don't
images?
because kind of looking like me and being me is two different things. You know what I'm saying?
I know,
Like
yeah.
the Palmetto Reed thing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we know that's me, but yeah, I don't. First of all, I find the humor is tongue in cheek, but some people would try to strike it. It depends on who the person is. I just don't have a lot of time. Long as it's just not me, and then when you put other people in the fray, then it becomes a problem. Because if you got a problem with me, have the problem with me, but stop going outside of the scope. And I just think that people sometimes do the wrong thing, and it winds up to come back to bite them. Those are my thoughts.
Well, my mentor said that, if you're a content creator and everybody is using your voice, using your image, using your video, and every time you look around, you are filling out the paperwork to strike, 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 then YouTube kind of looked at the content creator as well. It's like, why are you getting all of these strikes? You must be doing something.
Well, my thing is whenever I strike, it goes
Yeah.
through because I'm not a person who does it often. I don't use the strike as weaponization. When I use it, it's because it needs to be used.
Yeah.
You know, Somebody said, now who is this Rose? Rose said, hey everyone, JW, can I ask a question? Okay. Can a deacon of a church put a member out of the church? Not an individual deacon. No, not an
What you
individual
mean?
deacon.
What you mean? Put them out? What you mean? Put them out at the
Yeah, and yeah.
for that
What do you mean
day?
put out? What do you
For that?
mean put out?
Uh-huh.
Because that's another thing. What do you mean put out? That's a good question too. What do you mean put out?
Like if they acting up, you just put them out the church while the minister
Because
is preaching.
usually that it has to be a vote by the board, and with the pastor and the leadership. So yeah, I mean yeah. So
Well, you
Rose, it
need
depends on
security.
what.
Security
So it
would be
depends.
better.
Well, it depends
Se-
on what. I mean, do you mean out of the membership? Do you mean out of the church because they did something? You know, I know some of the more fundamental churches, they will vote
Mhm.
on it, and the board will vote on it, and they will tell that member they're no longer allowed to come to the congregation until they get their life right. I've seen a whole host of stuff, but it depends
Yeah,
on the church. I don't believe in kicking people out of the church. I believe that some people may not need to be in leadership depending on what they've done. If it's detrimental to others, but it depends. The deacon yanked an angry man out of the church on Easter Sunday. No, no, that ain't
right.
right. That ain't right. Let me put my thing up. That ain't right. That's
Uh-huh.
not right. Let me see what Rose got to say. What's up, Rose?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for clicking the link for me. Hi, everybody. Hey, Mr.
Hey.
Wilson. Hey, Miss Virginia. Could a deacon put a member out of a church?
Well, give me the context of how they got put out the church. Because there are many
Okay,
ways to get put out of the church, but how did they get put out the church?
okay. A lady was at the bus stop, a member of a church, right?
Uh huh.
Ain't it a pastor's right and duty if they see one of their members at a bus stop to pick them up and take them home because they go
If
to
they,
this church. Wait a minute. They go to this church. They've been a member of this church for 30 years. It's a family
okay,
church there. Okay.
okay.
So she goes into church last Sunday, Easter Sunday, and said
Mhm.
that the pastor didn't pick her up. He drove past her, and she's been a member of this church for over 30 years, and he didn't pick her up. She caused a little commotion in the church, and the deacon told her not to come back to that church no more.
Oh,
The deacon
okay.
cannot put you out of no church. Don't it have to be like you just said? It has to be voted on, correct?
Yeah, but the thing is, the pastor's not obligated to pick anybody up either. I know she's been a member for 30 years, but that's at the discretion of the pastor if he wants to pick her up. I don't know because again, if you that angry to say the pastor didn't pick you up, what if the pastor picked you up and then I don't know, bros. People see in this day and time, folk don't be telling all the story.
That's
So,
right.
but now this is what I will say though. Even if she caused a commotion,
Mm-hmm.
you
Uh-huh.
know, my thing is, I would have ignored her unless she put her hands on somebody or continue to disrupt the service. Then that's when
Uh-huh.
I would have somebody to take her out. But if she's
Well,
really not, go ahead.
okay, excuse me. What her problem is that she asked the pastor, and they have to go through some kind of, I guess, formation to ask for money to get like for her light bill and her rent and stuff.
Uh
They
huh.
said they couldn't do it for her this time because she's been asking for money from them to help her out.
Woo.
But she's been paying her tithes, Mr. Wilson, for so long. They shouldn't have to go through no program or ask nobody else to pay no bills for her. If she's putting into this church, she should get out what she's putting into this church. Don't
Oh
you
my
think?
But
God.
but the church is not a credit union, and this is what I
Or a
say
bank.
to people. It's not. But let me say this. This is where I fault these churches. I think good churches are churches who have social justice ministries,
Uh-huh.
financial ministries to help their people financially. See, it's not only spiritual, but my question is, why are you running short all the time? Because again, you give a woman a fish, she'll eat a day, but you teach her how to fish, she'll eat a lifetime. So I'm not saying that it's wrong, but sometimes you gotta have those safeguards because people don't understand that the church has to pay the light bill, they have to pay the water bill, They have to pay the insurance because you got to have insurance with these churches. Because if somebody falls, you know that they're gonna come for the church. You know, there are salaries to be paid at the church. So when the church has something left over in the benevolence fund, you know, if
Yeah.
you want to spread it out equally, you know, sometimes somebody might have to wait because somebody may need it. Now, this is what I would tell the pastor to do. You need to start looking at resources. Say, hey, we don't have it this time, but if you're on the verge of eviction, then you can go to this place because they keep people in who are having evictions, or we have a partnership with this. And this is why I fault these churches and these pastors, because now I will agree with this, Rose.
Mm-hmm.
People need to stop idolizing these pastors when these pastors are not doing anything. A good pastor is going to make sure they have ministries for everything, and a good pastor is going to be a community partner. So they're going to be going to the Community Action Agency, United Way, Catholic Charities. They're going to be checking out the places that help the other nonprofits. Who has
But wait a
food
minute.
banks? So
But
so
wait a
when they
minute.
don't have, they can go and do that, huh?
Why does it have to be when you give so much to the church? Whenever you're in need, you always have to go to like the trustee board. They have to have a meeting about it. Why can't they just go in their pocket as you put in? You should be able to get something out without having to go to the trustee board and have a meeting about it before the funds is distributed to the people.
But see, this is the thing, Rose. You giving to the church is not about you getting back. You giving the church is about
Right.
it's about making sure that you know the lights are on at the physical building, but the missionaries and those people who are doing what they need to do. Let me give you an example. I went to church all my life. It was my childhood church, and I gave a whole lot of money to it, right?
Uh-huh.
But I never expect them to do anything for me. However, you know, if I did ask, I know that there were policies and procedures. Now, I'm going to say this too, Rose. People need to know what they're joining. Because when they say, are you willing to abide by the rules and regulations of this church? And when you join that church, you are
Woo.
really giving a, yes, I'm willing to abide by the rules and regulations of this church. So if the rules and the regulations of the church means that in order to get funds, this is how you have to do that. So I think people need to ask questions before they join these churches. Now, I've seen some churches where they have really helped people, or they have gone to the congregation. Now, let me tell you something. It's a lot. It's a slippery slope because you can let the people know and take an offer for the person, but everybody don't like that because people don't
Show
like to be
down.
a charity case. But again, some churches they live from offering to offering, so it depends. We think these churches are a wealthy conglomerate of people. There are some churches that have a lot of wealth, but most of your churches, like you said, it was a family church. They don't have no wealth. They living
But
from paycheck to paycheck.
but it's a
The
big
churches
church
are
here. It's a
hurting
big
now.
church here. It's one of the biggest churches here. It's called Mount Eric Baptist Church, and it's in East Liberty. It's one of the prominent churches here. And
But the
Okay,
this
so
is
churches are hurting. People are not able to pay their tithes. They're not able to do a lot of things now because they lost their jobs or their job has downsized. So the churches are hurting too. They're not
but the
able to
leader
help a
lady at
whole
the
lot
bus
of
and
them.
stop.
Rose, I understand what you're saying, but it's really interesting. I would really have to know the ins and outs of the story because if this person is a habitual, I need money for help and this and
Yes.
this, then that may be an issue. And this is where I say, well, we might need some financial literacy because you know this is not going to stop. It's going to continue to happen.
Well,
So
the
I
leader
don't
lady
know.
at the bus stop, the leader lady at the bus stop, and you're going in her direction. That's wrong. That's wrong to leave an old lady out there at the bus stop. Well, she's not old. She's like 60 something. But to leave
But
her
let
at a
me
bus
say this:
stop,
if she causing all that hell in the church, I might not want to pick her. It depends. See, like I said, I don't know these people, Rose, so I would really have to know the whole context. But there are some people I would ride in my car because
I know that's
I don't
right.
want to hear a whole lot. Man, let me tell you something. I went to Pentecostal church. Number one, you ain't gonna change my radio station. I don't need to hear you. I don't know, Rose. So, I mean, you know, as we grow in grace, you know, I don't know. Some people are not some people are not. I don't know. I shouldn't say likable, and I don't want people to walk, but it had to really be a reason. And then I'm asking myself, why did they elect such a pastor if they knew that this man wasn't a servant?
Well,
If he
he's been a
wasn't a
pastor
servant
there
leader.
for a very long time.
So she know that. Well, first of all, she know. My thing is this: has she always been taking the bus? I mean, it's a lot of questions. Why are you taking the bus? Did you not ever have a car? And then
No,
if this church is so,
she never had a car. No, she's never had a car.
and
But
then
she's
they don't have no bus. If this church is so prominent, they don't have no bus. They
A
don't have
church
no
bus, yeah.
van. They don't have no church van.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have a church van, but she was at the grocery store. I mean, like on a Tuesday or
Oh,
Wednesday, a
shoot.
van is not going to just come and get you to take you to the grocery store.
Okay,
Oh,
now,
my God.
now I got a question. Was the pastor going somewhere else? I mean, was he going that way? Did he have time enough to pick her up? I mean, there's a lot of questions to ask on this, Rose, because again, I understand what you're saying. You would want people to be benevolent because I've seen people who go to my church and I'm like, hey, you okay? You got a ride? You know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
I have
right.
done that.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
baby, then I've seen
That's
some people and I
exactly what
just
I'm
kept,
saying.
but baby, wait a minute though. Now, I've seen some people and I know they are mess and they keep mess up in the church and I just keep on driving. I sure do. I don't know. It
Ah,
depends.
Okay,
It depends.
okay.
Because there are some people or if I know a sister or a brother, hey, don't you go to our church? Well, where you going? Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then if I know sister XYZ always keeping mess up in the church, I
Yeah.
don't know. I might keep on riding. I don't know. It depends, Rose. It depends
okay,
on what mood folk in. Now, let me say this though: if it's
okay.
raining and if it's
Yeah.
sleeting and pouring, I might really suck it up and say, okay, I'll take this person. But my thing is, I've seen people I've known and they kept on going by. I didn't feel any kind of way because A, I don't know if they had something else to do.
That's right.
B, I had already made up in my mind this is the mode of transportation I'm gonna take. So
Uh-huh.
even if they pick me up or not, if they pick me up, that's an added blessing. If they don't, I don't hold that to their charge.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it depends. I don't expect.
Okay.
Look,
That makes
I
sense.
mean, yeah, it depends on what it is, Rose. I don't know, and again, I don't know the whole context of it. But just because you give a lot of money, that don't mean people got to do stuff for you at church.
That's right.
This is my thing is I know a whole lot of people give a whole lot of money, but they keep a whole lot of mess up. But then I know some people who
Okay.
don't have a whole lot of money, but they cut the grass. Every
Uh-huh.
volunteer opportunity they there, and they don't have
Yeah.
a whole lot of money, but what they miss in money, they make up in serving
Time,
the church.
volunteer. Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
But you
and,
shouldn't
and
have
your
to go.
pay
They
and
shouldn't have
your
to
pay
go
gonna come
to.
from the Lord. But let me tell you something, both of them gonna get it because if
Well,
Jesus see it,
the deacon shouldn't have asked her to leave Sunday service either. The pastor didn't ask her to leave. The deacon got up
but this
and
is
said, "Well, you
but
got
yeah,
to leave."
now see now that's the deacon is out of order. The
Right,
deacon is
that's
out of order. Now the deacon is out of order. My thing is, did they physically remove her from the church?
yes, they just asked her to leave, and
Wow.
she said something about she won't be back. So I guess she won't come back
I
Okay,
don't
anymore.
so
blame her.
now
Don't
my
go
thing is that
back.
now I got a question for you. Now I got a question for you, Rose. Was this during the church service?
Yes, it was during church. Cause she just
That's
got up and
inappropriate.
she just got up and asked the pastor why didn't he pick her up at the bus stop when
Oh
she
my
was
What
drunk.
God.
now, Rose? Do you think that's the appropriate thing to do? Won't you?
No.
Don't you think? I mean, I would have even given her credit if she would have waited after service and say, Pastor, can I
Yeah.
speak to you in your office, or can I
Yeah.
speak to you in private, Pastor? I saw you and you saw me, and I mean, I know you don't have to pick me up,
It
but
was a mess. It
but
was a
my thing
mess.
is this
I
though.
got no lie to tell
But
you. It was a
Rose,
mess.
if she did that during church service, I
My,
think
my, my.
asking her, I think asking her to leave was a good way to do it because some people would
Yeah.
have physically put hands on her because she's out of order doing a church service to do
Yes,
that.
Lord.
And my thing
Yeah.
is, you should have talked to the pastor in private. Give me a prime example. I think the real Mama Fifi, gave her testimony of how she was offended with her Bible study teacher because he was praising
Wow.
Trump, and she didn't go back for about maybe 3 or 4 months. But
That's
then
right.
I said something, and some pricked on her heart to go to talk to him, but she waited
Uh-huh.
until the service was over, and then she went to talk to him. And
Uh-huh.
he said, I'm kind of thinking about some things I said because my 401k is tanking, and I'm
Right.
rethinking a lot of stuff. And then he said,
Uh-huh.
you know what? No one knew where you were, and he said, I'm sorry that you felt that way. And he said, I'm not gonna do that no more. He said, I'm gonna
Yeah.
stick to the Bible study. So because she went to him afterwards, and they did that in private, and how she
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
came to him was like not in a non-threatening manner. They really got through that. But if they're in service, I don't care if they was in offering. I don't care if they was doing the morning announcement. If it's doing the
Yeah.
church service and you do
Yeah.
that, then that's wrong. And them
Well, I
That's
think.
asking her
bad.
to leave was not a
Well, I
bad
think.
thing because it seemed like it disrupted the service.
I just think she got mad because when they told her that they couldn't help her with the finances, that's what really probably caused all the confusion because she asked her for the money like 2 weeks ago and she said that they never got back with her. So I guess that's the callous of it that she didn't get the money. So and he drove past her and I guess he thought he was ignoring her. I don't know. But I just
Well,
wanted to
this
know,
is
could
the
have
thing.
she
Can
Wow.
I say something? I know this gonna make some church people mad,
What?
but baby,
what?
you should have started paying that offering. Now, let
Should
me
have.
say this. I know a lot of people get mad at that, but Jesus told let me tell you something. Paul, I think it was Paul told the Macedonians. He said the Macedonians gave themselves unto the Lord, and they gave according to their ability. If you can't give
Right.
according to your ability, then stop giving. If
That's
you are
right.
really struggling 1 month,
Yes.
and your rent is $500, but
Okay.
yet that time's gonna make you pay $100. You better
Oh
pay your
shit.
rent.
Pay your
Jesus
rent,
ain't
honey.
never filed for chapter 13. Jesus ain't never been broke. Okay? And let me
Yeah,
say this.
that's
If
true.
I don't want your money broke, Rose, if you came to me and gave me $50, but say my light bill gonna be cut, I don't want you to give me that money. I would rather
Right.
you keep that money to pay your light bill because I don't want your lights cut off. Okay? So if
Okay.
I'm like
Yeah,
that, then
that's
I can
true.
imagine Jesus don't want you to do that either. Y'all stop letting these pastors strong arm y'all and giving money that you don't have to give. Okay? Jesus
Okay.
knows. Okay?
Right.
How he gonna
Right.
own cattle on 1,000 hills and the cattle on the hills and the hills and now he broke and he hard up for your $5? Baby, Jesus ain't hard up for your $5. Okay?
But they say it's more blessed to give than receive, though. That's
But
that's
my thing
that's
is this, you give it when you can. And that's the
Common
whole thing.
sense. Yeah.
But my
Mm.
thing is this: the widow with the situation, she gave all she had. But the situation was, it's not because she gave all she had. It was because the Jewish leaders should have been taking care of her in the first place. Because it is our duty to take care of those widows, those people who are older, and so on and so forth. So then I'm looking at the church as well. I see what you're saying, but my thing is, at the end of the day, baby, Jesus understands. You know,
Sure
y'all
do.
stop. If your car payment is if you $60, if you $60 short, then you better pray. Let me tell you something. There have been many times I didn't have a dime, couldn't tell nobody but the Lord. Okay,
Okay.
Jesus heard my plea and came and see about me. Now, when Jesus came to see about me, I made sure I gave. I have been to the place, when I was in college and stuff, that I would have to go to the pan and touch the pan because I
All
didn't have an
right.
offering, and the
That's
only thing I could
right.
do
right.
was
Yeah,
touch the
yeah,
pan.
yeah, yeah. That's true. But tithing ain't all
So,
about money either. You could do 10% of your time, and that's tithing.
but I don't believe in tithing because that's old. I ain't Jewish, and that's an Old Testament concept to me. I'm a free will giver. The Lord said He loves a cheerful giver, and He said, "Don't give out of necessity. Don't give grudgingly." That's how
You
I
don't
give.
believe
I
in
give free
tithing?
will. I
You don't
don't.
believe in tithing?
I don't. I'm not a Jew. Do you
Wow.
not know, Rose? Hold on. Do you not know?
No,
Hold
no,
on. Hold on.
Jay
Do you?
Wilson,
No, 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 no,
no,
no. Listen. No,
no,
listen to
no,
me. No,
no.
Rose. Rose, hear
That's
me
it's in the
out.
Bible.
Hear
It's in the
Rose.
Bible.
Rose, hear me out. See, this is why we
Okay.
run into problems. Do you not
Okay.
know? Do you not know Orthodox Jews, the people who keep the law, they don't tithe? Do you not know they don't tithe? Because at the end of the day, we're free will givers. Only the Levitical priest could take tithes, and you don't have no Levitical priest. See, this is why we. But look, let me say this
Uh,
to you, Rose. Let me
whoa.
say
I
this:
didn't know that. Nope.
if you want to tithe, you can. Because my salvation is not what I give. That's a non-essential to me. How you give your
Right.
money is between you and God. So if
Right.
you tithe, that's what you want to do. I don't. I'm a free
Right.
will giver. So God may want me to give $200, and then next week I give $100, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna give. So my thing is, I do believe in giving, but tithing is really not 10%. Tithing is 27.5% if you're gonna do it like the law say do it. And see, if you're gonna do it
Wow.
like the law say do it, it is. And let me say this. I'm gonna say one more thing about that tithing. If
Okay.
you go in Leviticus, it says if you do not have your tithe, if
Uh-huh.
you do not have your tithe, get your
What you do?
gold and your silver and purchase the tithe and bring it. So obviously it wasn't
Wow.
the money that was the tithe. It was the grain. The animals. That was the tithe, not the money. And when you look in the New Testament, it does not have tithing anymore. It has provision, and you'll see provision a lot. So I'm not trying to tell people not to do that. If the Lord is
Okay.
saying, "Hey, you tithe, you tithe," but I don't. I don't. I don't. And that's the
Wow.
reason why I don't. I don't. The only time you see tithing in the New Testament is when Jesus was admonishing the Pharisees because they had gardens, like your mama be growing collard greens in the backyard and stuff,
Yeah.
and they would
Okay.
tithe that. They would give ten
Yeah.
percent of that, and they thought they was doing something. And then Jesus was saying that the new way is the better way, but no, Jewish people, Orthodox Jewish people don't even tithe. They give an assessment. They make a pledge and they give it, but they don't tithe. They said the Levitical priests were killed. He said there's no Levitical priests no more. And so if the Jewish people of the law, the people who gonna keep the law don't tithe no more, then you know that you ain't gonna beat no Jew doing the law. You ain't gonna beat nobody Jewish doing the law. So that's why I do what I do. However, if people want to tithe, they can. I don't have a
Right.
problem with that. It don't have nothing to do with your salvation. But that's
Right.
why. So I'm not saying not to give. Now, you're right. The Lord loves a cheerful giver. The Lord wants us to be giving and giving graciously, but he doesn't have any restrictions or anything on that. And again, the tithing was for the widows. The Levitical priest did not have a portion, so that went to them. Those people who were down on their luck, or a foreigner who was down on their luck, and that's what the tithes was for. And that's why everybody gave. And for the most part, it was for the Levitical priests. And it was truly a storehouse.
Hello.
Can't hear him.
Can you hear me?
Now
We
we
hear you
can.
now.
Can you hear me now?
Uh
Yes.
huh.
Yeah. So tithing was really food. It was really food. It was really animals. It had nothing to do with money.
Wow.
So when you get to
Learn
the
something
money
new every day.
portion of it, yeah, when you get to the money portion of it, that's when Paul tells the Macedonians, and he bragged on them because they were the poorest group out of those people, and they gave themselves to the Lord first. Then they gave
Amen.
according to their ability because they had to help the church in Jerusalem. And Paul kept on saying, y'all better have this money because when we come, I don't want to be embarrassed because if you have pledged
He
this,
sure
this is what I
did.
want you
He
to get.
sure did. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Notice,
true.
notice, Jesus never took tithes because Jesus wasn't a Levitical priest. He was from the tribe of Judah.
Judah.
Paul didn't
Yeah.
take. He didn't take. He was from the tribe of Benjamin. Only the Levitical priest, only the tribe of Levi could take tithes. If you weren't from that tribe, you could not take tithes. And so this is why Jewish people look at us like we crazy because they like we don't tithe, and I'm like, well, how y'all
Uh-huh.
get y'all money? And he said everybody gives a pledge, and that's how they get their money. And that's the Jew. These people believe in the Old Testament still. So if they're telling me they don't tithe anymore, they don't. Do you not know that once you left Israel, you didn't have to tithe anymore? Because that was specifically for Israel. That was specifically for that regional geographical location. That was not for the United States. That was not for Europe. That was for Jerusalem. That was for Israel.
So everybody was practicing the Old Testament instead of the New.
When it comes to tithing, and I can understand preachers don't want it because it's a good thing. But my thing is, what's challenging is if you can really get your money by faith and tell people, I want you to give according to what the Lord has blessed you with. Because at the end of the day,
Right.
yeah. So my
Like
thing
a
is this.
benevolent fund.
Well, that's what it is now. It's everything
Yes.
is like Jesus, like give according to your measure. So
Right.
because tithing make people who can do it, I understand. But however you give, don't have nothing to do with your salvation. So Rose, if you continue to tithe tomorrow, it don't have nothing to do with your salvation. If that's how
Right.
you feel that God is leading you to do it, then you do
Okay.
it. I don't tithe because of what I know, but I still give. I do not stop giving.
Exactly.
However, if I don't have to give one Sunday, I'm not
Okay.
feeling guilty about it. I'm not feeling
Exactly.
downtrodden. I'm just going to believe that God is going to allow me at some point in time when I do get blessed to bless somebody. And that's how I look at it.
Well, thank you for having me. I just learned a little bit of something today. This was a blessing to me. Thank you, Jay
Yeah,
Wilson. Thank you
you're
for having
welcome.
me. And y'all have a
Uh-huh.
good day. I learned
You
something.
too.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rose,
Bye
for
bye.
coming on
You're
up.
welcome. You're welcome. Bye bye.
Thank you, Brother Jay.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
I'm glad
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Just learned something.
Uh-huh. So we thank Rose for coming on up. Child. It's the. So if that lady was in church and started arguing with the pastor during the service, then she deserved to get kicked out. And the church should. I'm not saying the church should be your last resort, and I understand that people pay tithes and offerings and all of that stuff, but that's to propagate the ministry. That's for the ministry to go on. It's not like a credit union. It's not like Social Security. If the pastor, there should be a way that churches could help people, but I think churches really need to utilize resources and people that could help their folk, and they have somebody who can help people. It should be an office to be able to help folks because the church can't do it all. The church can't do it all. And that's the God honest truth. But then I fault these churches because they so pastor centric till they don't really. The pastors are making the church about them and not about everybody else. And what I think should happen is at the end of the day, y'all should be looking at y'all ministries and say, okay, what ministries is going to work for this person or what ministries is going to work here? And that's what I think should happen. Yes.
Pastor Gay Wilson, I come in peace. I'm not coming to disrupt.
Well, first of all, you were just rude. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. I tell you, some people. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So I actually live in the Word of God in real life. You know,
Okay.
live by
Uh huh.
the real word,
Okay.
not
Whatever. I
not
got you.
not the
Whatever.
fake
See that
word.
that that that's insulting right there. You don't know that, but go ahead and say what you need to say.
Okay.
Thank you for the salutation. Thank you.
Okay. God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
All
Okay.
right. Okay, so go ahead, move on. We got that.
Okay.
That's what you believe.
I
Now, what else do you want to talk about? Because we were just talking.
take the
Well, wait a
pastor and
minute, wait a
doctor
minute, though.
out of
Wait a
your
minute, though.
name.
Wait, no,
You're
I
not a
can't take that.
doctor.
I
You're
can't.
not a doctor.
I am. I
By what?
earned it.
By way of
I
what
earned it.
school? By way
I
of what
earned it.
school? What
United
school?
Theological
What?
Seminary. I earned it. I
Ain't no
earned it.
seminary school
It's
gave you no
it's free.
degree.
They didn't give it to me because I earned it. That's the problem.
No,
I earned
no,
it.
no, 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 no,
I got
no,
to
no,
look,
no.
look, look, and look. Is this all you came to do? Because it's really
No. I'm
silly.
I'm doing
I
my
look. I don't.
background
I
check.
don't. I don't. Let me
I'm
say this.
doing my
I don't. I
background
don't
check
look. I don't know who you are, but I'm getting
because
ready
I'll
to
be
ban
making
you
calls.
because at
I'll
the
be
end of the
making
day,
calls.
you do what you want to do. Do what you want to do.
Because why would they give
Do
you
what you want
a
to do.
doctorate
They didn't give it to me, sir.
to
They didn't
practice
give
a
it to me.
religion that you
I
go
earn it.
against?
You don't go to seminary to do anything. You go to
Okay.
seminary
And
because
you
it's an
don't know how to
academic
play
setting.
piano. And you don't know
That's
how to play
okay.
piano.
But I
So
do
why you
play what I
lying on
do.
here telling
Okay.
people you do? You ain't
Whatever.
never
All right.
you
Whatever.
ain't
What
played
else?
no keys.
What
Knowing
else?
that you lying.
What else?
You
What
ain't
else?
got to lie to kick it. You know you
I
beat
don't have to
sector
lie. I
on here
don't have to
dissing the beat
lie.
sector.
I don't have to lie. What else? What else you got? What else you got? I think people are so ignorant. That's all you have? I think it's ignorant. Is that all you have? I mean, no one gives you anything. You earn the degree. So you can do all the research because the transcripts are real. So, United Theological Seminary is a regionally accredited seminary. North Central Higher Learning Commission, and it's also faith-based accredited. I don't go to no bootleg place. And far as earning clergy, I got my ordination papers. I think you're funny because you got an issue with me, and it's okay you have an issue with me, but it is what it is. I think it's funny. But anyway, you all, I gotta go because I'm getting ready to go to Fiesta in a few minutes. You all. But you always got somebody who has to come on over and do what they need to do. And it's funny. I'm just listening to them. Hold on for a minute, you all. Hold on. Overstand, I think I do have a host of fans. I just think it's funny because this is America, and how I want to believe is how I want to believe. Now, did you all see how Rose and I talk? I'm not saying that Rose is wrong. I'm just telling her why I don't tithe and I don't do the tithing like that. That's me. I gave her the reasons why, and we moved on. Hold on for a minute. I just banned you. You don't come on my platform. You're rude. So I was just waiting for you to come back up because you just can't help yourself. So I just banned that person. But the same old thing. Adam and Steve and Adam and Eve and all that. I done heard it all. My thing is, if you don't believe it and don't like it, then move on because ain't nothing changing at all. I just think it's funny. Nobody gives you a degree. You earn it. You earn it. And whether you think I should have it or not, I have it. And I can call myself DR period because it's earned. Not given, not honorary, but earned. That's number one. And number two, somebody thought I was intelligent enough and spiritual enough to ordain me. Now, did it come from your denomination? No, but I don't go to the same church you go to. And I'm not trying to get there either. So I think we just should focus on that. I know y'all hate that, but it's earned. It's earned. It's earned. Not given. It's earned. And can I say this? Most seminaries, if they're regional, I don't want y'all to catch this now. If your seminary is regionally accredited and you start discriminating against people because of their nationality, their sex, their faith, then you can be sued. So it's a lot of gay people who go to seminary, if you didn't know. Because seminary may be a denominational thing, but seminary doesn't guarantee you'll be able to preach at a church. Seminary is just saying that you've gone through all the necessary steps and what you need to do in your research. And somebody actually looked through your research and they find it to be credible research. That's education. Some of these people don't know nothing about higher education, but God bless their heart. I gotta go. Y'all take care, peace and love. I'll be back later on. Bye.